Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Study Abroad podcast presented by the London School of Leadership, Investment and Technology. In this platform, we explore ideas and initiatives that shape industries, empower communities, and inspire individuals. Our vision is to promote lifelong learning and higher studies, which empowers individuals. Today, we will discuss the current world of agri-tech, agribusiness, sustainable farming, and strategies for transforming agriculture-based SMEs. We'll also focus on the incredible opportunities for the young individuals seeking higher education and training in innovative and smart farming practices. Dr. Ikechi Agbugba is a renowned food and agro-economy expert whose long-term work has nurtured thousands of young individuals and agricultural leaders. Dr. Agbugba, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Nafis, and thank you, London School of Leadership.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being in the show. We are delighted to have you in the show, and I'm sure that a lot of insights will be broadcasted today for the individuals who are looking into developing their career as an agricultural leader. So, Dr. Agbugba, I just want to start this show by congratulating you on your latest achievements, on completing your master's degree on business administration. You are an MBA now and achieving the Provost Award from the Kavala University. Could you start sharing your vision and achievements that have brought you so far as an industry leader?
Thank you very much for your question and for the time that you have brought out. Yes, I've actually been spurred by some, values in life. My vision to get to where I am has, it has always been, I give the credit, to God Almighty, first of all, and then um, having been influenced at an early age by, my mother. I can't talk about my journey, in the, in this space of agribusiness and, agriculture, food security, economics of systems, without mentioning her, because I remember vividly that it was her who will always set the pace, and she provided also the platform for me to get to interact with plants, with animals, livestock, and with nature. So that became very um, significant, such that cannot be cannot obliterate from my mind. So I have, yes, and also I started to understand nature. I started to understand it as a primary sector. So it became more real to me that, this is a primary sector, this is a real sector, this is traditional. And, growing up in Africa, especially in my country, Nigeria, and also seeing other African countries, and having been exposed to South Africa, having been exposed to Malaysia, India, at a very early age. And that gave me a lot of perspective on how the system and economy can be transformed through agro resources. So, like, yeah, we eat every day also. And eating is something that goes hand in hand with us, with human beings, and with living things. So so that has also been part of what has made me to stay on that. And of course, you mentioned about my recent degree that I earned from the Kabbalah International University, my MBA. Yeah, it wasn't an easy sale, but because I was actually doing a lot of things at the same time, and but I I found it very um, necessary that I do it because of the brain engineering initiative which I had developed, which also stemmed from my earlier years in the space of food and agriculture. So this time around, I had to adapt it to the hospitality industry. Yeah. So
Wow. Yes, thank
I,
you. Thank you for sharing your illustrative career with us. I'm sure that it will empower and encourage a lot of young individuals that what you have achieved so far at an early career or since a very young age you have been working into this industry and trying to gather more knowledge to take this industry forward. My question to you, Dr. Ikechi, is what are your expectations for the young individuals to transform this agricultural landscape?
yeah, thank you very much for that question. Young people are very important in every society. Young people are in their early stages of lives, and that is their formative age. And whatever they will become is being planted at that time of life. So, and yeah, and what actually makes me to work with young people a lot is because of course, I am still young, but when I was much younger, I was seeing a lot of spaces or vacuum, things that I should have done differently, things that if I had started to do them, I know where I would have become. So I was also exposed very early to a lot of things in life. So um yeah, young people are always they are full of energy, enthusiasm, willingness, learning, and to explore. And you know now, coming back to the question that you asked me, the young people have a lot to do with this space of agribusiness and agriculture and food security. Yes, because they are the ones who will change the face of things. They are quite fluid, and they are quite they love to try. They are very inquisitive. They are curious, more like curious. Yeah. So, and in this time of when technology is driving efficiency a lot, is driving sustainability, is shifting things to productivity, to profitability, to positivism. Let me use that word. You know, so they are very important in the future of agriculture. And of course, many factors are preventing them from entering the field. And so when you find a young person whose perception has been changed, and we find a lot of them, lots of young people are doing very well entrepreneurially. So, and when you talk about entrepreneurship, when you talk about enterprise development, young people are very good. They are very powerful in that. And young people who understand, especially even in the rural, places, in remote places, can also change the face of things. Because when you talk about rural places, you're talking about agriculture. So if young people who are in rural places can begin to practice agriculture, can begin to look into ways of, innovative ways that will, change a lot of things. Yes, so that tells us about, In fact, I had always spoken about rural infrastructure, how we can, empower our rural communities infrastructurally. That will do a lot for the young people. Now, talking about, you know, the aging farming population thing. Yeah. So, and of course, we are having young people, practicing it. And but we are having it more in the global south than in the global north. Like, here in the UK, I have been invited to feature as the main speaker at the New Faces for Farming. That's for young people, dedicated for youngsters, those who are, who have not yet entered into the university, who are still in college, in secondary school and in college. They're about, that age bracket. So what are we supposed to do? Why was I invited? I was invited to come and begin to paint the pictures, the right pictures to them, tell them about the opportunities in this space. So, and most of them haven't even visited a farm before. So, and I try to also um, tell them about the system. Yeah, because young people, they need to understand the system, agricultural system, food and agricultural system, which touches on production, processing, distribution, and then consumption. So these four areas, they can feature prominently. So is it in producing crops or livestock or any type of, and they are it's quite broad. Or is it in the agroforestry, or is it in the fisheries? We are not talking about the blue economy. We are talking about a clean and renewable energy. We are talking about enablers, supply chain, value chain. We are talking about the business of agriculture. So young people, they love money. They love to make money. So we need to they need to come into the system of agriculture and begin to unlock the system in such a way that they'll begin to see how production can easily be done and they will make money from it. How marketing, how distribution, even in logistics. Of course, I've talked about the system already, and of course, it doesn't end at the farm. So, changing the perception of the young people is very important because it's not just for the young people who used to be young before and um, who are no longer in their 20s, but are maybe in the 40s or in the 50s, and they know that this agriculture has been practiced in the crude way, using of implements. Smallholder farmers have not really explored the aspect of business and all of that. So the image, the image must be very clear. And we are in the fourth industrial revolution. So the young people must also understand that. So and yeah, so when they begin to, you know, um, starting from changing of the perception and then featuring prominently and then driving a business idea and making ends meet. And of course, let us see also what the career options there and the opportunities there, and that will do a lot of um, that will change the face of things.
Definitely, definitely. Dr. Ikechi, you have mentioned some crucial points, such as the entrepreneurship, the social enterprise, and how us young people can do business by creating their own startups. And also, you've talked about the entire ecosystem, such as the marketing, the production, the supply chain. Everything needs to come together to start your own business. And as you mentioned, that it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of willpower. Maybe a young individual might have such excitement and the will to bring a change. And particularly, you have a vast experience. You have been coming together and talking to young people, and that gives you a lot of ideas that what might be their area of interest, and you have been mentoring them for quite some time. So I just want to learn that in this 21st century, everything entails into having the technological aspect. Such as in the agri-tech industry, this is kind of a buzzword that how can I use the AI, IoT, and data analysis uh, to enhance every aspect of the farming? So is it something that is relevant to this agri tech industry, or does it have a different meaning according to you?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Artificial intelligence is very important in agricultural technology. First of all, what is agricultural technology? Agricultural technology is technology in agriculture, employing, adapting, or utilizing technological options in practicing agriculture. And the practice of agriculture can be, in the areas that I've mentioned already in the subsectors. I call them the subsectors, and the subsectors could be in the crops, because in the crop subsector is a world of its own. That's where you get permanent crops, you get arable crops, you get horticulture crops, and they are quite robust. We always want to grab things from the crops. We use it as fruits, we use it as vegetables. We Yeah, and of course we also use them in the industry. So the industry are yearning for primary materials, and these are options also for trade. So that can open up a lot of market opportunities. Now, coming back to the issue that you raised on artificial intelligence and agricultural system, as far as we are concerned, or I am concerned, you know, artificial intelligence based technologies have the potential to provide that clarity, giving more accurate, detailed, and frequent forecasting, which the young people are very important. That's the area where you know is driving the young people, their interest is giving them a lot of hopes, and of course the artificial intelligence and the agricultural technology has all can has the potential of increasing supply um, of maybe urgently needed maybe seeds, because we are talking about seeds for planting, seeds that will be planted and produce um, crops, fruits, and which, of course, will be utilized. So, and AI can actually help in cultivation. AI can help in many ways to even get to understand the type of crops that can be planted in areas like inland. When you want to invest in an agriculture program or project or business or activity, so AI can be used to drive that efficiency. So that is the whole job of AI. So we've seen situations whereby AI has helped to tell us this is the type of crops that should be grown. This is the type of hybridized crops or cultivated varieties, or this, and of course there's what they also work with IoTs, Internet of Things, like I had mentioned about the fourth industrial revolution. Yeah, so they all work hand in hand, and so AI is actually um, those devices utilizes AI options, AI empowered device, so that when you cultivate those um, crops, you would not get into losses, because the AI can even find out the type of problems that will be encountered, like the pest and disease. Yeah. So a lot the AI can do with agricultural technology. Yeah, so it helps in, of course, in farm management. It helps, to improve farming. It helps to unlock systems. So this is, a scientific and technologically driven agriculture is what sensitizes the young people a lot. So the young people, they love technology a lot, and AI and technology goes hand in hand. And this is the course I teach in the university. So I have a lot of experience with that. And I know that um, these are ways of making agriculture very appealing for the young people, making it romantic for them, so that they will get in and practice it. So, and this is the high time. This is the high time that we need to understand the services of agricultural technology to meet food demands. There's so much demand for agricultural products. Demand keeps getting high, and AI is an answer. AI drives sustainability. Whether we um, look at it, we've looked at it in many ways. We've looked at it in that way. And we are battling with climate change issues. We are battling with poverty issues, socioeconomic issues. Yeah, so if we come together and invest our resources in building capacity with young people and AI and agricultural technology, we will go a long way to save the future of the young
Right,
people.
right, right. Right. Thank you, Dr. Ikechi. I'm quite uh, intrigued that you have mentioned about the capacity building and the predicting the climate or predicting the weather for particularly in such an industry where it is heavily weather dependent or climate dependent. So these tools are only here to make these things predictable and 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 to tackle these food production, the shortage of food or poverty, uh, these tools are quite important to predict the future and to have a successful production outline. Also, what I was thinking that there is there is the concept of brain re-engineering and the reimagination. I'm just quoting from your work, helps people to address how think about the social issues, how they can rethink about it. And at the recent event that you hosted at the Wolverhampton College, you spoke about the re-engineering strategy, focusing on the artificial intelligence and the green technology. I'm quite interested in learning from you. And could you explain how its strategy impacts the particularly the micro, small, and medium enterprises in agriculture?
Wow, thank you very much. This is like I am defending my my PhD in brain reengineering. Nafis,
Don't worry,
thank you
I'm
very
not
much.
gonna mark you.
No, 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 that's
Yeah.
fine, because this is very important also for me to explain some of these concepts and these initiatives, which has been born out of a lot of troubles and problems. When I mean troubles and problems, we've seen climate change issues, we've seen unemployment, we've seen perception problems being, you know, in our faces. We are faced by a lot, faced by crude implements. People are so disinterested. Young people are so disinterested. about farming, about cultivation of crops, about rearing of animals, farm animals, about this primary sector, which every sector depends upon. And we are talking about a space which, can help to promote health, and nutrition, and, or of course, unlock a lot of, um, you know, livelihoods have also been met. So about brain reengineering right now, you mentioned it because brain reengineering is my baby. I am the pioneer of brain reengineering strategy. And I started by thinking out of the box. How do we address this problem of young people? So that was where I started from. And because I teach students at the university, and of course, I mentor them, I guide them in, supervise their works, their research, and I have been very passionate about young people, at an early age. So how do we begin to think about re-engineering their minds, changing that mindset issues that, they are quite tall. So of course, it will not end in changing of mindset. So something must begin to happen. So I came up with this strategy, and it's all about um, reshaping, rebranding um, the agriculture space. The agribusiness space is about rebranding the systems, especially from the agricultural space, because I am, in fact, at the moment, I'm doing things a lot with the brain engineering strategy, because it can also be adapted in other areas, like even conflict transformation, managing of disaster, and all of that. So, but for agriculture right now, the whole idea is trying to foster youth engagement, trying to foster entrepreneurship in agriculture, trying to talk about moving from the traditional ways of doing things to a more dynamic, a more technologically driven, innovative approach. So now, what are we talking about? We are talking about trying to harness the strength, the energies of the youth, the enthusiasm of the young people, how we can harness their innovativeness, how we can harness their creativity, their potential. And, of course, they need to pass through the 5 pillars of the brain reengineering strategy, which I came up with. The first pillar is perception change, altering of perception, change of perception. So many young people, their minds are still in the wrong. Let me use that word. Yes, it can be true, but let's also understand that being wrong could be that, okay, we still use hoes and cutlass to cultivate the soil, but we are no longer there really. We have passed from that to using of more mechanized systems, technologically driven systems. We are no longer there. So how do we begin to marry where we were before and where we are now and where we are going? So this is the system. So it touches a lot on re-education. It touches a lot on you know um education, yeah, training, teaching, enlightenment, creating awareness. So after the first pillar, then comes ideation and entrepreneurship. And when you talk about ideation and entrepreneurship, it's it can be addressed on a dual basis and entails formation of new ideas or concepts, or like I had mentioned, to ideate, building or developing, you know, some innovation. And then of course it works hand in hand with entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship capacity, having or showing initiative and resourcefulness, which is of course intended to be accompanied by expressing some good degree of um, creativity and originality. And all these are geared towards driving solution, driving change. All we are talking about is within the agriculture space. The demand, we must understand that the demand for food, the demand for agricultural resources are getting higher, is increasing as the years go by. Population increases and the need is also getting wider. And preferences are, are different. Preferences of people are different. And then, of course, the fourth pillar is technology. Amalgamation of different technological options, technological ideas, technological solutions. Following ideation and entrepreneurship, the next step involves applying of scientific knowledge, you know, training of various technological solutions, training young people on technological options, which of course is the game-changing aspect, is very actionable. Technology integration is actionable in the brain engineering strategy. So modern agriculture extensively utilizes advanced technological options like robots. We have sensors. We have drone using of drones, you know, global positioning system, that's GPS technology, some sophisticated tools, combination of precision agriculture and robotic system tools, which of course we're talking about profitability, enhancing profitability, efficiency, safety, talking about safety also, and also environmental sustainability. And then the fourth pillar, which of course is drives me, makes me very happy about circular economy, sustainability and circular economy. We are talking about sustainability. How are these options sustainable? So this revolves around being intentional. So we must be intentional about every approach, constant, productive, in an agro sector, um, you know, space, in the agriculture sector space. And of course, every activity and practice between production and the end user from season to season must factor in training and education. Research and innovation is very vital. So, and all of this revolves around sustainability. And then, of course, circular economy aspect is what I added. I added it because we are talking about a time when there is so much waste in the system. Food waste, waste from agriculture. It could be losses, it could be waste even from, if we are not talking about agriculture, we are talking about waste from kitchen waste. And these days wastes can be compartmentalized. That is saying that waste can be categorized. Some are plastic waste, some are general waste, some are waste from the grid. That is from agriculture. We are talking about trying to partition waste and then begin to see how to utilize waste in the circular economy model. So, and that can save the world, that can save our society. These issues, we must be intentional about them. And that's why I kept talking about how we can form a PPP model. And that takes us to the fifth pillar, which is like a discussion. Is like let's have a conversation talking about social equity in public policy. Policy. When we talk about policy, we are talking about making bodies. We are talking about stakeholder groups. How are we coming together to express, and of course, in a part of fairness, being impartial in this justice aspect for all people, beginning to, especially agripreneurs in social policy. How are we advocating for the rights of farmers? Are we advocating for the rights of those who are involved in practicing agriculture, practicing business of agriculture? Maybe in the supply chain. Maybe I've mentioned the value chain also. Those, it will even surprise you that those who are in the logistics, like you just get your food and you want to order, food from McDonald's, or you want to order food from the Chinese restaurant or from the Japanese restaurant, or you want to order foods from the Indian restaurant, or you have some sort of, demand, something you want, and you want to eat, you want to grab something to eat. It's also part of the agriculture systems. And that is why I've always spoken about this. And I throw light all the time that agriculture is everywhere. Agribusiness, of course, agriculture, it all starts with farming. And then, of course, when you look at the supply chain, and we've been talking about fourth industrial revolution. What about blockchain technology, which of course helps in the traceability thing, transparency in the market systems, connects where this product comes from to where it is going to. That is talking about the rules of origin. Now, remember, I have talked about the stakeholders. So the brain engineering model is a five-pillar model, is a five-pillar approach, which tries to present an opportunity for young people to see that agriculture is still very viable, is still very important. And of course, young people can earn a living when they pitch correctly. So in line when we sit them down, or rather we give them that platform where they come and hear this, that could create that opportunity for them to behave like dynamites, standing out to say, oh wow, so this is really possible. So that's why we the young people are very important in food systems development, transforming food systems and our economies. And systems development, food security is one of the proxies for measuring economic development. And I have been sharing this in most of my you know classes.
Right, right,
It
right,
is.
Doctor. I believe I've just gone through your whole PhD thesis, and it was quite enlightening, particularly when you talk about the circular economy and the sustainability in the food industry. And everything has this sort of connection. It is the amalgamation of all kind of knowledge and technologies that a particular individual will gather and try to connect their activities and try to connect the development all together. And of course, as you mentioned, that these has the aspect that people need to discover, people need to dig deeper. Are mentoring student and lecturing student about your work on brain re-engineering and strategizing uh, to transform the MSMEs. So I believe that these things will be more clear to the students when they have this academic background or some sort of hands-on training for the young individuals, so that they can conquer this industry with their knowledge and with their expertise. So what I am willing to understand from you, that how it impacts on the MSMEs in agriculture. Can you just briefly explain a bit on that?
Yes, thank you very much. Um, yeah, MSMEs are micro, small and medium scale enterprises, and we know that most times, um, the farmers, the people who practice agriculture in the global south, especially, are smallholder based. So they are within that space of the micro, small, and medium scale. And yeah, so they are not large scale, but we have very few of them who are in the large scale, and we get them in the global north. Within the large scale enterprises, which of course they have also other departments when they are operating. Now, coming back to talk about how the brain reengineering and um, strategy can transform can transform them. And also, I remember you spoke about AI and green technology. Now, so let me say that um, because artificial intelligence is part of the brain engineering strategy in the aspects of technology, and also the green tech as well, which of course is gradually being used in transforming the MSMEs. Now, AI, I see, I began to see it as a tool for driving transformation, as an influential tool, as an influential option for driving, um, transforming SMEs, and of course, unlocking, their profit margins of the MSMEs, and changing their business territory. Of course, also helping to alleviate their business conditions and operations, which may have not been favorable to them. The smallholder farmers, they have challenges of scarce resources. Most times they even lack the collateral. So, and that has also discouraged the young people a lot in the space. So, how do we begin to see, looking at, you know, AI as a viable option to enable and change the strategies of, practices, and ultimately allowing the MSMEs to increase productivity and also scale up. Yeah. So we begin to see, okay, how do we for maybe help the MSMEs, because these AI devices could be expensive. So why can't we have that discussion? Why can't we have that collaboration and even form cooperatives and begin to enforce policies that would favor them at that level? So let me begin to conclude by saying that um, every attempt is geared towards what? Maximizing efficiency, reducing energy consumption, and of course mitigating wastes, maybe electronic wastes, while maintaining or improving overall operational performance. And we know that green tech touches on various approaches and initiatives to promote sustainability. So that is why the brain engineering strategy is um, hinging on shifting shifting operations from the traditional, like I mentioned. I'm just going back to what I said earlier to summarize and say, yeah, this is what it does, shifting traditional, mindsets or perception about agriculture to a more dynamic, technologically driven, innovative approach with clear focus on AI, especially to help we are the micro, small, and medium scale enterprises. So there's a lot of options for that. Yeah.
Right. That's quite intriguing, and at the same time, we believe that the corporates need to come up to collaborate with this small and medium-sized enterprises to let it grow, and make the small farmers have that sort of technology, since you mentioned that these are quite expensive, and a traditional farmer might not have such access to the technology. And I believe with that, we also need to think the persons who are willing to get involved into smart agriculture or green tech. Um, they need to have that basic idea how to operate those technologies, and in that sort, the young minds who are really working in their community, or they're trying to bring good to their country, they might want to focus in building their skills. So, Dr. Ikechi, you are an academic and at the same time you're a professional. You have both the industry knowledge and that has made you think through. What I believe is that apart from the academic knowledge, they need to have a hands-on training on these particular industry as well. So whenever there is a hands-on session or the apprenticeship programs, particularly in those regions where the agri-tech industry might flourish, uh, the companies or the SMEs can look into this kind of significant portion where they can set up this training program for the individuals who have less access to education or has less access to the academia. So I'm sure the leaders like you will definitely come forward to help these people from the remotest area in the world. So, bringing that point, I just want to come your personal level of affiliation with the government and the institutional support. Uh, how do you think the role of the government and the institutions play in supporting the individuals pursuing their careers in agriculture?
Yeah, thank you very much for that. The government has made some efforts, especially. Are you talking about in the global south or in the global north? Because I know that in the global north, government, helps a lot to fund and sponsor and give scholarships to people in this, in this space. Yeah. So, but in the global south, it's been challenged. It's been more like a lip service. Yeah, more like a lip service. So, and it has not been encouraging at all. Yeah, so it's been very Herculean, and I've been advocating for government involvement. I've been in situations where I was asked to recommend, persons. Even today, I was asked to recommend some people who studied agriculture to be employed in the university. So I was just busy trying to look at my resources to see how to recommend, some good people really who are, I know about. So that this is what my job has been. So I do a lot of recommendations for them. Yeah, but it has not been, flowing as I expected. It's supposed to be flowing all the time because people who have known you, that you have been in this space and they know your caliber of person, they know that you have a lot of insight, you have a lot of networks. And so I find it very, very challenging that the, most governments have not been wise. Let me use that word. And even we have a team, of course, I don't work alone. I love to work with people because when we go together, we achieve more results. So we are, many who advocate for, I am also a co-founder of the Africa Organization of Technology in Agriculture, and it was registered by Isaac Kagara, who is the president of the organization, and he is Rwanda. He registered it in Rwanda, and of course he knows that I have played a great role, and I've been, the chair of the scientific committee of the International Conference on Business Models in Agriculture, and so these are some areas that I have also found very interesting because it has opened up a lot of doors for me to work with government. You mentioned about my connection with government. I I am, yeah, I'm very, let me say, fortunate. I have some fortune with some government. While I am unfortunate with some governments. For instance, in my country where I come from, I have not been very fortunate with government. But outside of my country, I find it easier to work with government. You are respected for what you bring to the table. You are respected for the little things that you do. Yeah. So, and but I know that it's a process. We are getting there very soon. I know that in my country they are publishing things about me. They are having me on the media to speak about how to advocate for the rights of farmers. And the government can encourage agriculture in a number of ways. Why, financial support is very important. Supporting farmers through payments, credit, and price or income guarantees is that can be done. Setting policies in policy setting a agenda. Government can create policies that affect the price of commodities, and that will, furthermore, promote sustainable practices. What about providing information? We're talking about integration now. Yeah, market integration or price price integration. Allow me to use that word, because when we talk about integration, we're talking about prices. How are we getting, the government to encourage infrastructure in the markets, between markets, maybe the markets in the rural areas and the markets in the towns, in the urban areas. How are they connected? So providing information is very important. So governments should be at the fulcrum of educating farmers about the economic situation and how to make adjustment. And of course, the brain re-engineering is a very important vehicle that can do that for the government. Yeah, and also providing infrastructure, which I've talked earlier, storage. We're talking about marketing, other facilities, which can help farmers to expand. And these are creating job opportunities also. We talked about enterprise development and, of course, encouraging innovation, which, of course, providing incentive for farmers and those who practice agriculture. What about students who get into this profession? I have seen this, when I lived in South Africa, I saw that South Africa has been very good with funding of, people who are, studying agriculture. I've seen it here in the UK. I've seen it in the US. I've seen it, in other places. I've seen it also in very, like, maybe, let me say, less than 1% in my country, Nigeria. Less than 1%. Helping it, maybe some specific government can say, okay, let us fund somebody from our community. And, they will just fund. But it's very challenging. Yeah. So, because, this is very, very important. This is a very important space, because I have been teaching this for more than a decade now, and I can tell you that investing in agriculture from the global south helps a lot to transform that economy because of what it provides. Because according to literature, about 70% jobs are created through this sector. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Ikechi. I mean, the only reason the whole questions was towards you, to let the people understand the top to bottom view of this industry, starting from the minor level to the government stage. Everything falls under a certain ecosystem, and you made us go through all those steps, and so that the viewers or the listeners have that idea where to pursue and where to target. So it was quite enlightening, I must say, that we have this knowledge, we have gathered this knowledge to prosper in this industry and to take this industry forward, particularly what you mentioned about fighting the food scarcity or maintaining the balance in food production and wastage, and also ensuring that there is food for all, and we can make this world a better place. So thank you, Dr. Ikechi, for sharing your insights and an inspiring vision for the future of the agriculture. I would just give you the floor if you have any advice for the aspiring agricultural professionals before we go. If you could quickly give us a quick tip so that the young individuals can walk into it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nafis. What I want to say is that brain re-engineering, there's something I published recently on Foodlog. It was Dick Veerman who has been, you know, he's the founder of Foodlog, and he spoke about brain re-engineering as, a strategy for driving food security. It can boost food security, and I strongly, say that. And I have delved into a lot of research, even for early career academics. You will see that brain engineering is a powerful tool, is a powerful vehicle for educating young academics in agriculture and food systems, especially in this era, in this fourth industrial revolution era, as we live to the fifth industrial revolution, as we advance. I'm telling you, it's very, very actionable. It's very modern, and it's a sustainable teaching facility or teaching institution. The brain engineering model is an institution right now, as I speak to you, because um, it stands tall in tackling the younger generation's mindset challenges regarding food chain security, regarding agriculture, regarding a lot of things, that aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals agenda. So these strategies involve, entrepreneurial initiatives, you know, integrating, diverse technological solutions, which we have mentioned. So the earlier we utilize this, and I really want to give kudos to my colleagues at the university, at the York St. John University, at River State University. Um, yeah, River State University is a very important university to me because it's my country university, and they have I grew up from there, in the academia. Though I started my journey from University of Nigeria, and also I want to also thank University of Fort Hare in South Africa, because Professor Obi, Ajuruchukwu Obi, he mentored me, and I traveled. I've had a lot of experiences, globally. I was at the Farmer World Congress in 2015, and it was at that when my a lot of things were happening to me. I was really, really getting very exposed to the international community, in line with food security and halving poverty. And one of Africa Organization of Technology and Agriculture, which I co-founded. And of course, I started with Africa Agriculture Agenda. We are trying to set the pace for that agenda, actually. And also African Council of Small and um, small businesses and entrepreneurship. Yeah, which is Uganda, founded in Uganda. And of course, coming down here in the UK, I'm trying to get into the system with the AHDB. I was at their leadership conference, and even the Oxford Farming Conference, which I was supposed to be attending this year, to be able, to mingle with leaders, agri leaders here. And this summit also, we've started to have some agricultural summit here in the UK, and also the European Technology Chamber, where Dr. Beatrice Bishop and myself, Dr. Beatrice Bishop is originally German, we developed a PEX foreign policy ecosystem. She is the she's the pioneer of PEX foreign policy, which is, aligns with what we are talking about today. And we've been working together to see how we can drive change through technology advancement, through technology solution, and um, working with institutions to drive change. And with the EU and their Horizon funding and the GEZ and the USAID, yeah, lots, even at some point, the African Development Bank also, to see how we can assist those who practice agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ikechi. I'm sure that the vast network that you've mentioned, the connections you have, and the amount of people you know from the industry will definitely help our listener or our students to mentor themselves and get the right direction from the expert from this industry. So we are very glad to have you in our show, and we will definitely look forward to have another session regarding the agribusiness and the sustainable agricultural farming. Thank you, Dr. Ikechi, for being in here, and we will obviously publish this podcast on our YouTube channel. So to all our listeners, the opportunities are vast, I would say, and it's the time to act fast and prompt. If you're a young individual interested in shaping the future of sustainable farming, explore the programs and initiatives as discussed today. Register with us to speak to Dr. Ikechi and his team to get a tailored and specific advice to shape your future or any other understanding for your higher studies. Until next time, stay curious, stay innovative, and keep growing. This is Nafis Alam from LSLIT Study Abroad podcast, signing off.